from the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, when the 18th unit of the Rashtriya Rifles were on their way back from their patrolling duties close to the LOC at Bhuta Patri, Pakistani trained terrorists with the help of possibly the Pakistan Border Action Team ambushed their convoy. There was a fierce firefight and the coward terrorists scampered into the forest. 28-year-old rifleman Jeevan Singh and 28-year-old Kaisar Ahmad Shah gave up their lives, ensuring that we pushed the Pakistanis back. 30-year-old Naik Achintya Pandit, who is currently battling for life, also did the same. Homes of two porters from Kashmir, Mushtaq Chaudhary and Zahur Mir, also have coffins reaching their home back tonight. Since 2014, there have been 1,357 incidents of terror in Jammu and Kashmir. 1,357, which have resulted in casualties. Since 2014, there have been 380 civilians killed by the Pakistanis in Jammu and Kashmir. Since 2014, we have 618 of our security personnel, ladies and gentlemen. And the first surgical strike that we conducted on Pakistan, after all of this, was on the 28th of September 2016. And then there was a gap. And the last surgical strike we conducted on Pakistan was about 3 years later, 26th of February 2019, which means today it is more than 2,000 days since we last hammered Pakistan ghar mein ghus ke. In fact, 2,068 days have passed since we hammered the Pakistanis with a surgical strike. Please think about why I'm saying this. What I'm saying tonight is very clear, and I hope you stand with me in this. And we must read the pattern, as these attacks are increasingly desperately as the cover of winter nears, and the Pakistanis will be doing their classic and stale and pathetic trick of trying to push through terrorists en masse into Kashmir, which has been largely peaceful since the blood business of Azadi has been shut down in Jammu and Kashmir, and the lifeline of Islamabad has been asphyxiated. And the question today, as I see it, is very, very clear. It has been 2,068 days since the last surgical strike. We need a more military approach. We need to adopt a much more aggressive strategy militarily to counter Pakistan. Because middle road does not help. Reasoning, rationale, giving them time, opportunity, only putting a little bit of diplomatic pressure does not help. These are Pakistanis we are dealing with. Because the surgical strikes got them creaking quite literally in their boots. But these Pakistanis either need to hear from the might of the Indian Army, the Indian defense, more often in terms of these strikes. Either we have more frequent, though unpredictable surgical strikes, or we need a broader final solution strategy. This middle road will not work because the Modi government has worked hard in defending the democracy in Kashmir. They have done so by revoking 370 and conducting a very successful democratic exercise. They have done so by bringing central schemes, billions of dollars of worth investment, development, roads, and with the acceptability to the people of Kashmir. But at the same principle, the same time, we must do all of this on one side and add our aggression on the other vis-a-vis the Pakistanis. So my point tonight on the nation's sharpest opinion is simple. It's been 2068 days since we hit them hard the last time. Now, either we have more frequent and maybe a series of surgical strikes, or we have a final solution strategy. That will call for a diplomatic work, but principally 80% of that will be a military approach. I believe this is the best time, and we can finish the job fast. Anyone watching the program tonight knows this, that if we deliberate at a time like this, we can finish the job in days, not even weeks. We are calling the global shots. We have incredible influence. We are part of the global power play. And I think the time for the final solution is here. What do you think? Let's debate.
The last salute to the mighty fallen. The Pakistan-sponsored terror outfit is back at it once again.
Pakistan! Pakistan! Pakistan!
7 days, 4 terror attacks. October 18th, one non-local from Bihar mercilessly killed in Shopian. Just 2 days later, on October 20, 7 civilians killed, 5 injured in Ganderbal. October 24, 19-year-old non-local from UP's Bijnor shot at by terrorists. And then, on October 24, 2 army men, 2 army porters killed in action in North Kashmir's GULMARG. The army says that there are about 120 to 130 terrorists active in the valley.
What actually has happened over the last 5 years in the Jammu and Kashmir is a large number of terrorists, almost 720 have been neutralized. And the residual terrorists today, the agency, the multi-agency center keeps updating the figures, stand something like 120, 130.
Politicians who once stood pro-Pak line now say Kashmir will not become Pakistan.
मैंने ये आज 30 साल से देख रहा हूं और बेगुनाह मारे जाते हैं और हम पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा बनने वाले नहीं हैं। तो ये कर किस लिए रहे हैं? हमारे मुस्तकबिल को खराब करने के लिए, बर्बाद करने के लिए।
The terror state hasn't learned its lesson from the past, and it's time to hurt the terror state where it hurts them.
So, Uzma Kardar, I don't know what you're trying to prove. You know, yesterday's attack was a direct attack on the Indian Army, on the Rashtriya Rifles unit. So you're calling for a war. And you're declaring war against India. Are you sure you want to do this? By asking your soldiers to attack an Indian Army Rashtriya Rifles unit, you are calling for a war with India. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you truly prepared for our response, for our likely response?
Arnab, what can I say? You know, you people are so obsessed with warmongering, and you call yourself a democracy, but you do not want to talk or negotiate or discuss anything. Straight away, you know, you jump to military, strategies and military options. That shows that India is not a democracy at all. They don't believe in talking and, solving their problems. Now, you see what you're facing in occupied Kashmir. That is of your own making.
Uzma ji, there is a reason for this. There is a reason for this. There is a reason for this. Let me explain to you, and General Bishambar Dayal is joining this debate tonight. I'll just tell you this. Your point to me tonight is that on every issue, we, as India's leading news network, are looking for military options. There is a reason for this. And the reason is, as someone famously said recently, that there are two kinds of countries, right? India is a nation which has an army. You are an army that has a nation.
Oh, well, come on.
So we will only speak to you in military terms.
You've got such distorted concepts. I don't know from where you get them, for God's sake.
I get them from my extremely intelligent mind and my deep reading of Pakistan's history and my curious interest in global geostrategy, for which you are clearly not prepared to debate with me on equal terms. You seem underprepared tonight, Uzma. But you can...
Arnab, for God's sake, you people, you have a one-track mind. Why don't you accept the fact that this is an indigenous freedom movement in occupied Kashmir? You have brought this upon yourself. You have turned Kashmir
Bishambar Dayal,
biggest jail.
can we get his audio correct? His audio is not good. General Dayal's audio has to be improved.
You have violated all the human fundamental rights. This is an uprising. It's an indigenous uprising. They don't want you.
We just had an election in Kashmir, and people are voted for the government that they wanted. Terrorism cannot be tolerated.
Both audio and video have to be fixed, producers.
Terror state. Let's accept that.
Please.
The more terrorists you send to us, it will be incumbent on India to eradicate terrorism from Pakistan if you cannot stop. Why is it that the Pakistani army and the Pakistani government failing to deal with terrorism? In fact, you are incumbent in supporting terrorism out of Pakistan.
You are the biggest terrorist of the world. The whole world is now saying that India is exporting terrorism. You're exporting terrorism to America. You're exporting terrorism to Britain. You're exporting terrorism everywhere in the world. You're the ones who are known
India
as the
will
biggest
eradicate
terrorists now.
every terrorist
Audio controls need to be better.
That is a threat to India.
No, I think that Uzma, please listen to me. Uzma, please listen to me. Uzma ji, please listen to me. I can't hear her. Her audio is not clear in the studio. Can it be increased in the studio? Uzma ji, please listen to me. Listen to me. I asked you that if you want to declare war on India, you just think through the likely consequences that you are going to face. That's all.
Listen, we do not fear war. Don't forget Abhinandan, okay? And please remember how your Air Force got a slap on its face. You cannot compete with us. Our armed forces are one of the best in the world, and we do not fear war at all.
Fix the Indian panel.
The number of terrorists
we are fully prepared.
Forgotten the number of terrorists you have eliminated that have come from Pakistan, and we will continue to eliminate the terrorists.
Give us the threat of war.
And if Pakistan continues to support the terrorists, we will continue to eliminate every single terrorist.
For a long time to come.
Why is Pakistan refusing
You have to keep the audio right.
with terrorists?
Uzma, you need to get better Indian panelists faster, please.
To sacrifice their lives for their
Uzma,
you cannot face them.
Uzma, you have just admitted in your excitement that you have sent your army into Indian territory to attack Rashtriya Rifles personnel, and you have also said right now, you just said right now that you will follow up by sending more Pakistanis on our soil. May I remind you that what you are saying as a member of parliament from the PMLN, the ruling party, amounts to an act of war against India.
Military strategy, and you are obsessed with the fact
Louder,
that
what is
we
she
are
saying?
going to sort them out, and we will tell them what it is. You people, that's all you do. You keep on hurling accusations. You keep on hurling threats. That's all you're capable of doing. Nothing else.
No, we are capable of taking you on also, man. We are capable of taking you on also.
What is happening?
We've shown it at numerous times.
Oh, no, you have not shown us. It's been
peaceful.
75 long years. You have not shown anything to us.
You won't
We are the
win
ones
a
who
war
have
with India.
shown
So don't
everything to
even go
you.
down that path.
We are the ones.
Correct what is wrong in Pakistan if you have the courage to do that. Correct what is wrong in Pakistan if you have the courage to do that. But you will not
fulfill your so-called
depends on
ambitions.
terrorism.
You know,
Pakistan depends on funding that comes from nations that want to keep terrorism alive. And that is the reality
that's
of
what you
Pakistan.
think. That's
but
what you
Pakistan
think.
does not want to accept it.
We don't need
the
any
people
funds
of
from
Pakistan
any other place.
Okay, I ask you this. Bishambar, General Bishambar Dayal is with us. General Bishambar Dayal, General Bishambar Dayal, General Bishambar Dayal, 1 minute. Uzma, General Dayal. Uzma, viewers, yesterday, I was, yesterday, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I'll tell you one thing. First of all, it's an act of cowardice when the army comes, supports terrorists, and then ambushes. They cannot come in a one-to-one fight. Everyone knows that. Second point is that I don't know where Uzma Kardar was on 16th of December 1971. Maybe she can tell me. Where were you on 16th of December 1971?
I was watching your army, 2.5 lakh Indian soldiers which you sent to support Mukti Bhani against our Pakistani forces. How you slaughtered our soldiers.
Where were you? Where were you? Where were you when you surrendered?
You saw that. My husband was a POW.
Your husband was caught by us.
I know.
Your husband was caught by us. And was he? Did he also put his guns down? Did he also look down? You have a pic. Did he surrender? Your husband surrendered. You mean your husband surrendered to India? Your husband surrendered to us. Your husband surrendered to us. Your husband surrendered to us. He's a surrenderee.
It was not that.
Remember, all his life he will be known as someone who surrendered.
It was your army and Mukti Bhani.
But he surrendered. He surrendered. I know you must be feeling bad that he came back as a surrendered man.
Oh no.
He came back a surrendered man.
I think they fought for their country.
Yeah, but he came back a surrendered man.
For their country.
We had pity on him. He surrendered. He surrendered. So always be grateful. Always be grateful. Always be grateful, Uzma.
You be grateful.
Always be grateful. You have personal experience. Your husband had surrendered to India in 1971. Your husband surrendered in 1971. Must hit you hard. It must hurt you. It must hurt you to know he went to war to fight and came back on the basis of our pity.
Then your soldiers.
He went to the war to fight and came back as a surrenderee who had got our pity. Pity.
Oh, we don't want your pity.
Always, you got it. You may not want, but you took it. You took our pity. You took our pity. Did your husband say, shoot me, but I will not surrender? Did he say to an Indian, shoot me, I will not surrender? Did he refuse to surrender? Why did your husband surrender? Why did your husband surrender? Why did he surrender?
Wrap their bodies of the young men in the...
Why did he surrender? Why did your husband surrender like a coward?
Do not give them
Why did your husband surrender on 16th of December 1971? A date you remember very well, Uzma. You will never forget it all your life. Whole life you will not forget 16th December 1971. It is the date your husband and your army surrendered.
My husband was just a captain at that time.
Yeah, a surrendered captain.
He had barely joined
a surrendered captain.
At that time. And you
defeated and surrendered captain who took India's pity and came back home, defeated and surrendered.
You should be ashamed of yourself. These were this was.
Let me tell you now. Madam, please be quiet. Please be quiet. Please be quiet. Please be quiet. General Bishambar Dayal has history in Indian Army. My father was in the Madras Sappers 9 Engineer Regiment, part of the victorious Indian Army of 1971. You, on the other hand, Your husband in 1971 surrendered and was defeated and came back because of our pity. Anyway, good luck to you. I understand your personal history in this matter. Now I will, now having understood कि आपको गुस्सा क्यों आता है, हम समझते हैं, हमें बुरा लगता है, क्योंकि आपने कहा कि आपके अपने शौहर एक कैप्टन है जो पाकिस्तान आर्मी में थे, जिन्होंने अपनी बुज़दिली दिखाकर, हार कर, सरेंडर करके घर वापस आए थे.
All the time you're
Now the point is, General Bishambar Dayal, because they can't face us in a war. Because they can't face us in a war.
Stop dreaming about taking over Pakistan.
I'm not. Now, anyway, your husband was not the only one who surrendered. Many other people surrendered, like your husband.
It's invincible. You cannot even hope to compete with the Pakistan.
Anyway, I think I touched a raw nerve. I touched a raw nerve today. I touched a raw nerve in Uzma today. I touched a raw nerve.
I think it's time you should get a reality check.
I've given you a reality check because I made you remember the day your husband surrendered.
No, I will give her a reality check if you request her to be quiet, Arnab. If you can request her to be quiet. Arnab, firstly, it's
one Pakistani guest seems to have run away. One Pakistani guest seems to have run away. Ladies and gentlemen, get him back. Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back. General Bishambar Dayal, on the debate this evening, what are the choices before us now?
Arnab, it's a proxy war, and a proxy war is a military situation, and it needs a military solution. It's a military problem, it needs a military solution. Now, in proxy war,
I agree.
Either you keep tackling the proxies or you strike at the base. I'm of the firm belief that the Pakistani army, the Pakistani ISI are solely responsible for sponsoring, patronizing, and completely funding, completely supporting the terrorism and this ghastly act which is going on in Jammu and Kashmir to undermine India, to undermine India's democracy, undermine India's development, undermine India's name and fame, which is across the world today. So it needs a military solution. Now, Arnab, if the government of India decides, believe you me, Indian military is capable of resolving this across the border much faster than what we can do within our own population. When in our own population, these cowards, they do these cowardly acts where we do not know. They spring like cockroaches, they spring like mouses, they go back into their holes when they are there. And let me put the record straight to the lady. In 1971, she talks of a captain of her husband who surrendered. We talk of a second lieutenant, Arun Khetrapal, who won a battle. He sacrificed his life, made the highest sacrifice, but won the battle of Patanta. That young boy was barely out of Indian military academy. That is the difference between Indian...
Well said, sir. Well said. Well said. Well said, sir. Well said. Well said, sir.
That is the difference. That is the critical...
Louder, louder.
And that difference...
Well said, sir. Well said, sir.
Talk about Abhinandan. Don't talk about...
Listen to me.
Louder, General Bishambar Dayal, louder. General Dayal, louder.
I don't want to make it
Increase the audio,
individual.
please, of General Dayal.
Listen, my dear lady, listen to me. My dear lady, I am still an army officer, a gentleman to the court. I wouldn't like to get indulged in personal. But that is the difference between us and you.
RSS mentality.
You are fountainhead of terrorism. You are fountainhead of terrorism. You are a failed state. Right. And you are promoting terrorism across the world. You are the fountainhead. We are promoting peace. We are supporting peace and
Sikh leadership in America. Look at what you did to the Sikh leadership in Canada.
Nothing.
The governments there are sick and tired of you. They are throwing your high commissioner out.
Listen, you cannot tolerate that Punjab is peaceful,
You are declared terrorists who are exporting terrorism all over the world.
I wish there was something happening in Punjab. There's nothing. It's more peaceful than any place on the earth. And it is prospering. Right? So please don't bring unwanted subject. The subject is that the ISI and
the Sikhs don't want to stay with you. The Sikhs all over the world, they had a referendum. They said, no India. We don't want
Mind
to
your
stay
own
with India.
business, yaar, Uzma.
You deal with
Mind
that.
your own business. Your husband tried to interfere and had to surrender in 1971.
That is why you're killing Sikhs.
Your husband
all
has
over the
surrendered
world.
in 1971. You still don't understand. You must mind your own business.
American Sikhs. You are killing British Sikhs. You people are sick. Absolutely now.
In 1971, it was not your husband surrendered, it was your state which spent.
Well, leave my husband out of it. We were just
I didn't say that. You told me. No, 1 minute. I'd leave your husband. No, you said your husband surrendered. You have said on an Indian TV channel that your husband surrendered. I asked you where were you. You said my husband surrendered. I asked you where were you. You said my husband surrendered. आपको अगर याद है कि आपका husband surrender किया है तो मैं क्या करूं? I asked you 1 minute. This is wrong. No, 1 minute. General Dayal, I asked her 1 minute. General Dayal, I asked her where were you on December 16, 1971? She said that is the day my husband surrendered. I didn't bring in her husband. She brought her husband into the debate.
So we could not get married, and he got married when he came back.
Nation
Whatever.
It's a great hardship. The way you people, kept our people as POWs, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Listen. Did I tell you, you be ashamed of yourself? Listen.
That is the face of India. That is the face of India.
General.
When a nation surrenders, the children grow like you with this psyche. You people have grown with this psyche of meekness, surrender, cheating,
You people shamelessly interfered in that war.
creating a wrong picture, creating a wrong narrative.
Shamelessly
You
killed
people have a falsehood.
all the Pakistani forces
The
there.
entire state
Along
is based
with
on falsehood. Falsehood, you understand?
You wanted East Pakistan to be separated from Pakistan.
Of course we
And you
wanted, of course.
conspired. It was your
Of course.
conspiracy.
We would like you to
are
divide
you
into
are the
four.
conspirators.
We will
You
also
should be
divide you
ashamed
into
of
four.
yourself.
We will also
And
divide
then
you
you
into
blame
four and
Pakistan.
take POK. Of course we will divide you because you don't deserve to be. You will
What
get
do you
divided into
deserve?
4 states.
What do you
and
deserve?
POK
You
will be
deserve
with
a
us.
medal for exporting
It's a
terrorism
matter
all
of
over the
time.
world. That's
It's
what
a
you
matter of
deserve.
time. It's a matter of
Now
time.
the question is, viewers, that I began by saying that by directly targeting the Indian Army, it's a very serious declaration. And the question is whether Pakistan is prepared for the consequences. And I believe...
Are you prepared?
I believe...
Are you prepared for the consequences?
1000%.
Don't forget Abhinandan.
1000%. Abhinandan went in like a hero and came back like a hero, and you thought we'll drop a nuclear bomb on you, so you sent him back after giving him a good meal.
Let me remind you that
your minister, your interior minister. 1 minute. Uzma, you talk a lot. Uzma, you talk a lot. Now you listen to me. आप बहुत बोलती हैं, मेरी बात सुनिए. देखिए, आप बहुत बोल रही हैं, मेरी बात सुनिए. आपके मंत्री ने, आप क्या बोलते हैं उर्दू में मंत्री को? आपके मंत्री ने, जो आप मंत्री कहते हैं, उर्दू में क्या कहते हैं आप? आपके मंत्री ने आपके पार्लियामेंट में कहा कि अभिनंदन को छोड़ दो, नहीं तो इंडिया हमको अटैक करेगी, हमारे पास वायरलेस इंफॉर्मेशन आई है. आप डर के मारे आपने उनको हीरो की तरह वापस भेज दिया.
ऐसा नहीं है.
ऐसा ही है. ये वास्तविकता है. वास्तविकता को उर्दू में क्या कहते हैं? रियलिटी.
आप हर वक्त जंग की कहानी करते हैं, तो आपको ख्याल होना चाहिए कि जंग जो है उससे कोई नहीं जीतता.
अभी पीसफुल नॉइजेस,
लोगों की जाने जाती हैं, उससे खून बहता है.
आपको तो पता ही होगा 1971 में बहुत जाने गई थी, कारगिल के समय भी बहुत जाने गई थी, बहुत पाकिस्तानी खून बहा था.
आपको ह्यूमन लाइफ के साथ कोई प्यार नहीं है. लॉसेस दोनों साइड्स पे होते हैं. आप जाते हैं लोग.
Now they are trying to pull back. But viewers, I'll tell you, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. Irshad, see, this is not a joke. These attacks have happened after in the last 14 days. 14 दिन हो गए Jammu and Kashmir since the new government was formed, and there be 7 attacks. So it is quite clear to us that the attacks have increased after Omar Abdullah has been sworn in as the chief minister.
मेरा नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम था, जिसकी वजह से मैं आपसे बात नहीं कर सका, ना आपको सुन सका.
मुझे लगा आप भाग गए.
मैं आपसे ये बताऊंगा, देखिए ये जो कुछ भागने वाले में से नहीं है, पाकिस्तानी भागते नहीं है। इंशाल्लाह सीना आगे रख के बात करेंगे हम आपसे। हम आपसे ये बताएंगे, देखें पहले तो ये अभिनंदन की बात कर रहे थे। अभिनंदन एक चूहे की तरह हमने गिराया था और आवाम ने गिराया था, फौज ने भी नहीं गिराया था, और चूहा पकड़ लिया था अपने आप का। और दूसरी बात जो हमारे मंत्री जी की कर रहे हैं, याद सादिक साहब की, उन्होंने एक सियासी बयान दिया था। सियासी बयान होते हैं, इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। दूसरी बात ये है, दूसरी बात ये है, सुनो यार, बहुत देर से बात सुन लो। पहले बात लोगों से मार खाई। आप जरा बात सुने, मुझे बोलने दें। अभी दूसरे को भी सुनने का हौसला रखा करें। मुझे बोलने दें, मुझे एक मिनट बोलने दें। मैं कह रहा हूँ 1 मिनट बोलने दें, हौसला रख के सुनने का। खामोश रहे जरा, 1 मिनट के लिए चुप रहे। आप दूसरी बात कर रहे हैं, दूसरी बात ये चुप कर जाए। 1 मिनट इनको चुप कराए जरा, इनको चुप कराए जरा। और यार मुंह बंद करो अपना, एक चूहे जैसे आप खुद भी हो। 1 मिनट मुंह बंद करें जरा, मुझे बोलने दें, मुझे मौका दें। बहुत देर से आप बोल रहे हैं, बहुत उल्टा सीधा बोल रहे हैं आप। मैं ये कहूंगा, देखिए आप ये कह रहे हैं 14 दिन में फारूक अब्दुल्ला ने मुझे बोलने दें, मुझे बोलने तो दें यार। 1 मिनट हौसला रखा करें, बात सुना करें दूसरे की। अभी आप बात कर रहे हैं 14 दिन में जब से फारूक अब्दुल्ला ने हुकूमत संभाली, हमले तेज हो गए। देखिए मोदी जी को सरकार नहीं मिली कश्मीर में। मैंने परसों भी आपके प्रोग्राम में कहा था, उन्होंने कम से कम कश्मीरियों से बदला डबल शुरू कर दिया। पहले मार तो रहे थे, अब उन्हें मालूम हो गया कि कश्मीरियों ने अपना हक राय दी, अख्तियार किया, और कांग्रेस और दूसरे लोगों ने मिलकर के हुकूमत बनाई। जब हुकूमत मोदी जी की नहीं बनी, बीजेपी की हुकूमत नहीं बनी, उसने इंतशार तो कराना है, जुल्म तो करना है कश्मीर।
That we are killing our own people. Can't you shut him up?
Jaldal is on the debate. Jaldal.
Arnab.
Get Usman on the right.
Can you tell this man to shut up? Can you allow such a narrative on our national television channel? These people, firstly, these are terrorists. They sponsor terrorists. They train terrorists. They supported terrorists. And on our national television channel, you allow him to talk this crap.
You people are the biggest terrorists in Kashmir.
Uzma Kardar, see, I'll tell you. First of all, understand it correctly. Uzma, see, it is quite clear to us, and you don't have to be a very well-known geostrategic analyst to say this. One minute. What is clear to me? Uzma, these are desperate acts by you after we have conducted peaceful elections. These are desperate attacks by you. 13 people have been killed. Let me put it in perspective for you. 13 people have been killed in the last 15 days since the assembly election results were announced. General Dayal, let us have no doubt, they hate democracy because they are not a democratic country. They will never be a democratic country. So in the last 2 weeks, viewers, 7 terror attacks and 13 people killed because Omar Abdullah was elected chief minister in an election with the highest voting turnout. What can be bigger testament of the proof of our democratic intent than this, General Dayal? They can't stand it. That's why they attacked our parliament. Our parliament is the symbol of our democracy.
So therefore,
they hate democracy.
And now
and that is what is most sacred to us as a nation.
People. And that is why you're so frustrated. That is why your government is so frustrated. You can't control this internal situation. And this is a freedom fight. This is a freedom movement.
Don't talk like a parrot. You are frustrated. You are fostering terrorism.
General Dayal, please.
In Kashmir, inflicting cruelty on the people of Kashmir.
Arnab, can you just shut her up? Arnab, the issue is, see, I'm an army officer and we generally don't talk over the ladies. Whatever, the lady may be from Pakistan, she may be from anywhere, right? The issue is that this is sponsored terrorism and they are trying to undermine the flourishing democracy in Jammu and Kashmir. And since Pakistani army and Pakistani ISI are clearly and absolutely involved into it, it is time to teach them a lesson. It is time to strike at Pakistani army, at Pakistani ISI. And that is the only language they understand. So it is time to strike at them and strike hard at their armed forces, at their army, at their bases, at the LC. I've been talking that it is time to start operations on the LC and put Pakistan back into the place
Yes,
that
sir.
it deserves to be.
Absolutely, sir. We are with you in that. We are with you in that.
So scared of our army.
We are with you in that.
Gives
Madam,
you nightmares. You cannot compete with our
Ladies and
army.
gentlemen.
You cannot compete with our intelligence agencies. Raw is nowhere. Raw is nowhere. Raw is
Next
nothing
debate.
as compared to
Your
our
army
ISI.
will
You've got
not-
the best
your army
Yeah,
intelligence
will-
ladies and gentlemen, I request the Pakistanis to understand the clear message we are sending to them. Uzma Kardar, you have your own personal history here. Your husband tried to be brave and came back as a coward after being defeated and surrendered. You have a personal history, which is why you have a personal animosity towards the Indian Army, which defeated your army and your people, and your husband had to surrender. That is an unfortunate reality. I didn't drag him into the debate, you did. Ladies and gentlemen,
We all know what happened in 1971.
ladies and gentlemen,
Forget about it. Come
we
out
all
of
know
your
what happened in
dreamland.
1971.
Come out of your
Yes, we know.
dreamland.
Yeah, we know what happened in 1971. You also know what happened in 1971.
To face Pakistan
You
army
know
and Pakistan
what happened in 1971. You have a deep understanding of it.
Truth.
And
you need
anyway,
to- you need to
Uzma,
follow it.
I never hit back personally, so I will
cannot do anything
not
about
attack
it.
you personally, but reality is reality. You will have to deal with your personal issues at a personal level. I thank you, Uzma. It's been a tough evening for you on television. You have my sympathies. I thank you for tonight.